Season 3. Who ever thought this was going to happen? But here we are. Welcome back to On the Shelf, the series. I am your bearded, wonderful, lovable host, Mike. Boop. Today with me is take 2 of Natalie, the amazing Spider Gal. Natalie, how are we doing today?
I'm great. Thank you. I'm very excited because my collection has grown exponentially.
I know. So long story short, folks, not full disclosure because none of your darn business, but I have obviously changed studios and I am in a great place right now. We are having a wonderful time here. And Natalie and I have tried this interview once before and it went great. It's a fantastic interview. Natalie's an awesome person, but I figured I would want to showcase this behind me, as well as now Natalie's burgeoning and awesome collection. So on that note, Natalie, tell the folks at home a little bit about yourself.
Hi. I'm super excited again to be here and talk about my favorite thing ever. I'm a recent college graduate, and about 10 years ago, this year, it was definitely my 10th anniversary. I saw the Spider-Man Turn Off the Dark Broadway show. And I only went because my cousin was like, oh, my sister wants to see it for her birthday and I don't want to go. So I'm going to make you come with me. Like, at least we'll have each other. And I was like, yeah, I like Broadway, even if I don't like Spider-Man. So we'll go. And I went and I sat in the seat and the show just started and I was immediately captivated and it just clicked, something clicked. And now I'm here.
And here we are. So since the Broadway show, you obviously you've seen the movies, yes. Read any of the comics?
Yep.
Okay. Favorite Spider-Man actor?
That is always such a hard one. And I have so many different answers.
So I like asking it.
Yeah, I'm sure. So in terms of the movies that everybody's familiar with, the original trilogy, Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2, and then the new trilogy. Tobey Maguire was the first one that I saw after the musical. I accidentally ended up watching them backwards. I watched 3 first because it was the only one I could find at Barnes & Noble.
Okay.
But then I watched 1 and then 2. So he just was like the Spider-Man for me after, that first initial exposure. Right. So movies, I'd have to say Tobey, even though I love them all. They're all very good in their own right.
Okay.
But my all-time favorite, like live action Spider-Man is Reeve Carney, who portrayed Peter in the Broadway musical.
Awesome. So have you met Reeve?
I have. In January of 2020, right before all that nonsense started, my best friend and I went to see Hadestown on Broadway, and he is actually starring in that, opposite the actor who played Green Goblin, interestingly enough. So they were reunited for that.
That's
and
awesome.
I got to do the stage door, and I met him. And I was like, I know this is going to sound really weird, especially since I'm here for Hadestown and not Spider-Man, but I need to tell you that Spider-Man changed my life and you were the Spider-Man who did it. And please sign my plushie. And he was like, oh, okay, cool. Thank you.
So where's the plushie?
That is buried somewhere on my bed, but I will send a photo to you.
Very good. So good. So the photo is going to go like right here. Boop. So what about Spider-Man interests you? What draws you to him as a character, as Peter Parker /
Right. It was definitely when he came on stage, I saw that it was a kid. I mean, Reeve is not a kid, but he was made to look like a kid.
Portrayed as a kid, right?
15, 16, a little bit older than I was at the time. And I was like, this doesn't seem right. Every single superhero exposure I've had, Batman, Superman, Captain America, even Spider-Man, from what vague stuff I had seen him in before, they were like these buff 30-something-year-old men. And I was like, I can't relate to that. I'm 8. I'm an 8-year-old girl. What does that matter? But then I saw that he was like me. Like, he's a teenager. He's a kid in school struggling. He's been bullied. He's a nerd. And yet, even so, when he gets these powers, it goes to his head at first. I think it would go to anybody's head at first.
Yes.
But then he learns, of course, great power comes great responsibility. And he's always going to do the right thing, even when other people trample on him. Oh my God, I'm sorry, my cats are running around.
It's okay.
Peter Perker and Harry Pawsborn are their names.
It's awesome. I was going to actually ask you that. I had a feeling they were Spider-Man related, but I'm glad you beat me to that. Are we drinking out of a Spider-Man cup?
Yep, the Broadway cup.
Awesome. That's fantastic. My girlfriend loves Broadway merchandise, so
it's so good. Broadway is wonderful. And I think it's only fitting that something I love, like Broadway, got me into my favorite thing ever.
It's very true. It's very true.
Yeah.
So what was your first piece of Spider-Man memorabilia merchandise? Was it the plushie? Was it that cup? What are we talking about?
It was this plushie right here. This amazing Spider-Man plush. His tush tag is literally gone. It's white. It was black. Because he's slept in my bed every single day since I got him.
Okay.
And at the time I was like, ew, I don't like the Amazing Spider-Man. It's only the Broadway one and the Tobey ones. I don't know why. I was like a purist.
It's okay.
I was like, why'd they remake Spider-Man? And I was like, I'm just gonna pretend this one's Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. But now, of course, I love all of the different Spider-Man movies. So that's Andrew Garfield. But
Andrew's my favorite. I can say Andrew's my favorite.
Nice. Yeah, he deserves a lot of the credit of playing Peter and Spider-Man very well. I know people are like, oh, he's a better Spider-Man than Peter, but he's good. He's just always good.
He's always good.
But yeah, I got that plushie at Target and I was embarrassed. I was like 12 and I was like, oh, 12-year-old with a plush. Now I'm 23 and I have like 500. But I was like, oh, a 12-year-old with a plush, they're gonna like judge me. So I hid it under my sweatshirt all the way to the cashier. And I was like, it's for my younger cousin. Nobody cares.
Nobody cares. It's funny, Nat, I always say that I feel like Big Bang Theory made, and I've said this on previous episodes, that I feel like Big Bang Theory is what made collecting for us cool.
Yes,
right?
I think so.
Right? Like Matt Smith said in Doctor Who, like bow ties are cool. I wear bow ties now. I feel like Big Bang Theory, for better, for worse, mostly for worse, but that's a whole other episode, made everything that we do now acceptable. Like I've been collecting since actually it was 30 years ago. This last week for the Death of Superman, when it came out, that's what got me into comics. That's what got me into Superman. So, but now you don't care. I mean, you're a cosplayer. You've dressed up. You've got a large couple 1,000-pound thing that has, which we're going to get into. But look, there's all my room.
Nice.
So. And we're going to get into that in a second, but it is great to see that you are proud of your geeky collection, as so many other guests of mine have been as well.
Definitely.
So on that note, let's talk about some of your other things. So this is a little show and tell. What you got?
Yes. So I collect everything Spider-Man. Anything I see, even if it's just like a chapstick in Walmart, I'm like, oh my God, I need this. I have like 15 chapsticks. I'm never going to get rid of them. But my main thing and my favorite thing to collect is plushies.
Okay.
And so that one that I just showed you was an official plush. And this one is also official. This was made by Miniso, which is like a Japanese style brand.
Okay, but let's also for a second talk about your badass shirt.
Oh,
your Spider-Man themed glasses.
Thank you.
I'm digging the dedication. It's awesome.
Thank
the
you.
plushie's sick. That's a big one.
Yeah, I'll try to sit him up in the chair, or I'll hold him up. He's a big boy.
He's a big boy.
Yeah, he's got big feet, big face.
And that was an import. You had to like go on a website or something, or was that something you got at like a con?
So they were sold in America for a little while,
okay,
but only a couple of them were made because they're like big exclusive Miniso plush. They were made to celebrate, the opening of the Miniso stores in America, and they were like, oh, the Marvel collaboration. We're doing a big Marvel collaboration, so you can either buy or win a big Iron Man, big Cap, or big Spidey. And I was like, oh my God, I have to have him. But they were all on the West Coast at that time. The New York store had not opened yet.
Okay.
So of course I can't go out to California with times being what they were.
Yeah, true. Very true.
And I was just so desperate. And I kept looking online. And the only places I could find, because Miniso has like a website, but they didn't sell it on the American website. They only sold it on the Australian website. And they wouldn't sell to you if you weren't in Australia, understandable.
Oh.
But I found this Singapore website called Carousel, where it's like, eBay, Mercari, but like for Singapore.
Okay.
And I literally desperately messaged like 3 people who were selling them. I was like, hi, I'm from America. I really need this plush. I will pay shipping. I will do whatever you want me to do to get this plush to my house. And no one replied to me for like 2 years. And then in June of last year, right around my birthday, someone finally got back to me and was like, hey, are you still interested? Like, I can ship it if you really want to. It'll be a lot, but I can do it. And I was like, yes, thank you.
That's awesome.
And he was like, I have to unstuff his head because he's too big to fit in the box. So you'll have to stuff him when you get home. And I was like, that's fine, I'll do it. So like he shipped it, very nice person. And then he came while I was on vacation in Disney, because it was like a makeup trip for my 21st, because that was during, the peak
Of
bad
course.
times.
Yes.
And I came back and he was there in his big package. And I immediately went out to Michael's and bought like 3 bags of stuffing. And I was like, I gotta stuff his head.
Well, he looks great. He's gigantic. I can't even imagine how much that cost to ship. But
Yeah, I think it was worth it though.
oh,
my
but
buddy.
see, that's all that matters.
Yes.
So let's talk about your vehicle.
Oh my God, yes. My car. I cannot believe that I own it. I never thought it would happen. In like way before 2019, actually, my parents were like, you should learn to drive. And I was like, I'm scared. I don't want to learn to drive. And then I thought up a very smart plan, or at least to me, it felt smart. I was like, okay, they're not going to want to do this, so I'll never have to learn to drive.
Right.
I was like, if you let me get a Beetle, like one of those old chunky Beetles, not a new Beetle that's all sleek, and then you let me make it Spider-Man, I'll learn to drive. And I was like, they're not going to let me do that. And then they were like, all right, bet.
Challenge accepted.
And one day after taking me to see some of the new Beetles on the lot, it was like a 2015 and a 2017 Beetle, I think.
Okay.
And my dad was like, are you sure you don't want this? I was like, no, I want the chunky ones. They're cuter. And he was like, all right,
They are.
we're going to go to New Jersey. Because I had found some on Carfax or like some other car good deal website.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, no, Dad, this is the one I want. I found it online. It's a good price. This is all the one that I want. And he was like, I guess we're going to go to New Jersey and pick it up then. And I was like, what?
That's awesome. Those are some good parents. And let me tell you, folks,
Yes.
there are some good things in New Jersey. I don't care what they tell you. Jersey, where it's at. So
It's true.
so now you got the car, you got the original, you got a Transformers G1 Bumblebee Beetle, right?
Pretty much. Yeah. The original like new Beetle, sort of. It was a 2007. It is a 2007. And then my parents were like, okay, we are going to let you do this. We'll make sure the price range is appropriate.
Okay. And
honestly, I went to this place called Vision Signs and Awnings in Smithtown on Long Island. And they were like, yeah, we could do that. I drew up what I wanted, and then they made their own design based off that and digitized it. They cleared it with me. And then during another vacation stint of summer of 2019, we dropped it off, came back, and then it looked like this.
That is so badass. And this is the point when as she's showing the toy model, we are going to have the video interspersed into this interview like magic. But it's sick because I remember the video of it originally, and it's phenomenal. And how many times do you get stopped by like everybody about the badassness of your vehicle?
Oh, I do a lot, and it makes me so happy because I've had just wonderful interactions with people that I never would have spoken to otherwise. And it really like helps me realize like, the world is dark and tired and scary a lot, but there are still, really nice people, and like even strangers that you don't know are still going to be nice to you just because they want to be nice to you. And like,
yeah,
I've had kids get all excited about it. I've had adults roll down their windows and get excited about it. I met a very cool dude named Nick, who does Spider-Man parties. He dresses up in the suit.
Nick
amazing.
is a little dude. He was on cosplay for a while. He was on Instagram. I remember, I remember I met him somewhere. I met him at a con in Long Island. And
really, yeah, I think he has gone to cons.
Yeah, but he was dressed, I think, as Bucky at the time.
Oh, really?
And God, I remember Nick. That's crazy.
Yeah,
nice guy.
He's super cool. Like he does everything. When he does Spider-Man parties, like oh my goodness, his phone. He came,
It's Jay Jonah calling. It's okay. I get it.
yeah, honestly, he's like, what are you doing?
Exactly. He's looking for the reporter. I get it.
I have the full scoop. Yeah, he like, because after we had our little interaction, like he came up to me at a red light, like our cars were like parked. I was in the passenger seat. My mom was driving because I had a headache, and he rolled down the thing, pulls out his card to me, and is like, "Hey, awesome car. My name's Nick. I do Spider-Man parties. If you ever have a party or you want me to come, like, to a gathering, hit me up." And I was like, "Okay, cool, I will."
That's awesome.
And so I asked him to come to my 21st birthday celebration and my graduation celebration. And he did. He was very nice.
And we have pictures of that.
Yes. And he sat in my car. We took pictures. He went up on the roof. He did a handstand on the roof. And my neighbors came out and were like, "Is that Spider-Man on the roof?" And he took a picture with my next door neighbor's son. And I was like, badass. "Oh, magic."
That's badass.
It was so
now,
cool.
Speaking of cosplaying, you cosplay as well, don't you?
I do. It's very much a fun thing for me to engage in.
It is. What got you into, I mean, obviously we know what got you into that, but what made you decide to put on a suit, and what was your first suit?
I think I definitely feel like I've cosplayed before Spider-Man, because I've always loved dressing up as characters for Halloween. But I think, of course, Spider-Man is what really got me, fully into the scene. I'm not a professional or anything. I'm not like 1,000 follower Instagram account, but
you don't have to be. Doesn't matter.
That is true. It's just about having fun, honestly.
It's just about having fun. It's not about being a social media influencer. It's about representing a character that you love. And I mean, I apparently cosplayed as Superman my first year that I was alive.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there are pictures of me as a big round 10 or 11 pound baby. My poor mother, in a Superman costume. So
that's so cute.
It was meant to be. So I totally get it. Totally understand. And how do you feel putting that thing on? How do you, like, honestly?
It feels good. I mean, it's like when I got the suit, my first like official suit, because I've had Party City suits and they were cool, but they're not like.
But they're not.
They're not mega quality. Like, they're good for Halloween and stuff, but the mask is not detachable, and I really wanted a detachable mask. And on eBay, it felt like fate. I was looking on eBay. I was like, I got to get a Spider-Man suit. Like, I got to just find something that can be worn to conventions more comfortably. And I saw this Broadway era Spider-Man costume, like from the musical. And it was like my height, my size, perfect.
Kismet.
It was, and I got that. And that's my first like official suit. Awesome. And it feels so good. It feels like I just put on the suit and then the mask, and I feel epic posing and doing different things and walking around at a convention. People are like, "Yo, nice." And I'm like, "Yeah."
Isn't that awesome? So now you have, back to the plushies. You said, how many plushies do you have?
Last time I counted, it was around like the 300 mark. I'm sure I have more. Yeah.
That's awesome.
And I have, my favorite thing, I mean, I love the official ones, like, the Mini So, the Andrew Garfield, Amazing Spider-Man. But getting custom made plushies, like exactly to my specifications, are some of my favorite things to like commission ever.
Okay. Like what?
So I love Pokemon as well.
Okay.
And I had asked someone online on Etsy, actually. I believe their username is like Polymer Princess. I'll give you all the usernames if anyone is interested.
Somebody will be. Absolutely.
They made me this Galvantula Spider-Man.
Wow.
Little spider on his chest there.
That's crazy.
He's a little dude. And they made me a bunch of other, he's the one I chose to showcase. But I got Espeon, Ariados, all my favorite Pokemon. I was like, make them Spider-Man, please. That's
so cool. 300. So like you said, some of them on your bed. Where, like, are the rest like in storage? Or are they like on shelves?
90% of them. Yes. 90% of them are in my room.
Okay.
I have very little space for myself, but I don't care. I love them.
Fair.
The big ones, like this dude, he sits in the den most of the time. My parents are very gracious and loving. Thank you, Mom and Dad, to let me have my big boys either on the couch in our living room or in the den.
Really?
And then I keep my biggest Spider-Man in my car, which works out because people are like, "Oh my gosh, he's in the back seat."
Oh, I thought it was going to be for HOV purposes, but that works too.
I could if I wanted to, but that sounds illegal.
No, no, I'm sure the cops would actually probably get a kick out of pulling you over and seeing Spider-Man in the back.
That is a good point.
So, all right. So apart from the plushies and your fantastically magical car, anything else for the class?
Yeah. So this is my first Turn Off the Dark playbill from the time that I saw it the first time.
Awesome.
It's signed by a bunch of the cast, but Reeve was not there that day. I think this was sorry. I went back and got this first one signed on his closing performance day, and he didn't come out, but that's, I understand. I'm sure he was very tired.
I'm sure.
But I did manage to get his signature, as I said, when I met him at Hadestown. And then my uncle had bought me for Christmas one year a fully signed original cast playbill. So that was cool.
That's awesome. I love to hear that, like, your whole family's like in on this. Like, they're all like,
yes.
You know what I mean? That's freaking cool. That's awesome. Kudos to your family on this one.
Yeah, no, it makes me so incredibly happy. Like, they all know. They know anything Spider-Man, like, they got to show me. Sometimes they'll just text me like, hey, I saw this, look at this, I found this. And I'm like, thank you. And like, a lot of my favorite gifts have been from my family, for Christmas or birthdays, and they've gotten me amazing Spider-Man things.
That's awesome.
And then speaking of, signatures, this is one of my favorite things. I have this journal notebook, and it was signed at Stan Lee's final Comic-Con appearance in 2018.
Okay.
So we have
there it is. Still a great signature, man.
Yep. And then there's the
certificate of authenticity from Stanley Collectibles, no less. So did you take a picture with him, or was that only the photo?
That would have been extra. I wish I could have, but the signature was the most important to me.
Times are tough, yeah. And I mean, that's a lot of people say that they'd rather have the autographs than the pictures, because they know they met them. You're not doing it for whomever, you're doing it for you. So I totally get that.
Yeah, and I would have loved to be able to talk to him a little more, but of course, it's a long line, 3-hour line.
The man.
And he was very busy.
Yeah.
And this was his final appearance. So it was just awesome just to be, in proximity to him. Half the creative team who made my favorite character ever. And he got to sign my notebook, and it encourages me to write and, do things the way he did.
That's good. I mean, it's always great having your, meeting your heroes. Sometimes it's bad, but most times it's really awesome.
Thankfully this time was a good time.
So, how many you had told me since I believe the last time that we had interviewed that you have also gotten a couple tattoos?
Yes, I love my tattoos. So this was my first one, this dude.
Nice.
There's a Spider-Man spider.
Great.
Like a little jumping spider drawn by a good friend of mine named Sam. And then I have, these are more not necessarily obviously Spider-Man related, but we have Peter and his best friend Harry, because I love them very much. And awesome. Then sorry, it's kind of hard to see.
No, it's all good. It's all good.
Then there's a Undertale Spider-Man crossover tattoo. I'm not sure if you know what Undertale is.
I do not, but if you would like to explain it to the audience, I would appreciate that as well.
Sure. I'm always happy to spread more propaganda for my other favorite things. So Undertale is a video game by Toby Fox. It's like an RPG.
Okay.
He made it almost completely by himself. There's like just 2 or 3 other people who helped him with it. He made the music. He's a well-known game composer. He actually just debuted a couple of tracks in the new Pokemon games, Scarlet and Violet. Very happy for him. And it's like, you have choices. You can choose to play through the RPG like most RPGs, where you kill monsters, you get experience points, you level up, you win.
Right.
But in this case, that's not the real objective, because all of these monsters, all these characters, they're only attacking you because they feel threatened. You have the option to talk to them and settle things peacefully. Okay. Or you could just slaughter them. But that's not going to get you a good ending. No. So I just really love that game. That really resonated with me, especially with the hard times that we were dealing with earlier, and then even before then, just in my life. I really value being kind and like trying to find better solutions to things than war and violence.
I feel you.
And I was like, Spider-Man is a lot like that, sort of. So I just combined them because I love combining my favorite things.
Mashups are always cool.
Yes.
You've got some
Yes.
awesome ones. The Pokemon ones are sick.
Thank you.
And that's actually, you actually did that costume, yeah?
Yes. So I had that costume that I showed in my tattoo made up as a physical costume that I can wear by probably Kitey. Again, I'll send you all the names on Instagram because he does custom suits occasionally. And he helped me bring that to life, and that was really cool.
So is it safe to say that that the playbook would be is your grail piece, or do you have a grail piece that you have not shown us yet?
One of my grail pieces was definitely that big dude that I showed you. Also, yeah, I would say the signed playbook definitely is one of them.
Okay.
And like honestly, just every new plush almost is just something that I'm like, oh man, I didn't think of this, but then I thought of it, and now it's here and it's perfect. Like if that makes sense.
It
I'm
absolutely
so
makes sense.
ultra excited about everything. Like I have this guy, he's based on another tattoo that I can't show because it's on my back, but it's Spider-Man Dragon. So he was made
That's crazy.
sort of based off of that. He's got his little web tail,
That's awesome.
little face. He smells like strawberries.
So is there anything that like you have seen that you're like, man, I really need that? That is like the piece that I need.
Yeah, and I'm very grateful to have gotten some of them, as I've said. But right now, I'm trying to think. Oh yeah, something that just came out is the Pandora Marvel Spider-Man collection,
Okay.
like the bracelets.
Yeah.
And the charms. When I was in Disney this past summer, I was like looking at their charms because they have a little Pandora shop. And the woman selling them was like, "Oh, if you like the Marvel, guess what? Spider-Man's gonna have a whole collection out later."
Wow.
And I was like, "Finally, yes!" So I put that on my Christmas list. I'm like, please.
And I'm actually interested to see now. I got to look it up to see what kind of cool pieces they're showcasing. Is it like
Yeah,
it's probably a bunch? Yeah.
Yeah, they have about 4 or 5. I think it's pretty
Awesome.
substantial.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
So, Natalie, we are going to now the question that everybody hates, the on the shelf question. If you had one shelf in your room, your house, wherever you may be living at any time in this life or the next, and you could have 3 items on said shelf, what would they be?
Oh my gosh.
And that might change tomorrow. That might change by the time this interview ends. But for right now, what would those items be?
Oh man, that is very tricky. I feel like definitely my first plush that I showed you earlier. Because he started this whole crazy like 300 plus plush piece collection. Probably one of my signed playbills. It's hard to choose between the first or the the framed one from Christmas. And then I really love this Spider-Man snow globe that I got for Christmas a few years back. I'll get a picture of that for you too. It's really big. It's like a jumbo-sized snow globe. He's crouching in the center of the actual ball, and there's I think there's like webby pieces in addition to snow in there, and like little black spiders.
That's awesome.
And then around the base, it looks like gargoyles of the villains. So there's Venom, Green Goblin, Lizard, and Hobgoblin, I think. That's
pretty freaking cool. That's a good one. I'm actually looking forward to seeing that. I had a guest on years ago, Mike, who had a Green Lantern snow globe, which was pretty badass. So nice. I'm always a fan of snow globes. There was a cool Batman one I've seen before, but Spider-Man, I never seen one. So that's a good one.
I'm always on the lookout for like rare items. So when I find like a snow globe, because I haven't seen that many of them, like they're out there, but there's not like tens of hundreds of them like there are plushies.
No, for sure not. Would you say that you have a lot of rare pieces, or you have like a handful?
I think so. Yeah, like, I mean, if you can think of something, Spider-Man is probably on it. Including like, undergarments, like boxers or socks.
What's the craziest thing that you before we go? What would be the craziest thing that you have Spider-Man on that no one would ever think of?
Probably a toaster.
Does it come out with the symbol on it? Does it burn the symbol?
Yes. Yeah, that's one of my favorite pieces. I'm like, oh yes.
That's awesome.
I love the home cookware. I want everything in my kitchen to be Spider-Man.
That's awesome. So, Natalie, I am going to thank you for joining us today. It has been listen, thanks for coming on and doing round two with me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.
Folks, we're going to post her all of her social media information in case anybody be interested in following her. Her stuff is pretty cool. And I'd like to thank you for joining me, everybody, and coming back. More episodes to come. If you would like to join, information's down there, as well as that nefarious and notorious subscribe button. Folks, have a great day. Thank you so much.